Welcome back everyone. This is going to be part 3 of my head game series, and today we're going to be covering attention. If you want to check over the other things, please head over to my YouTube and you're going to find a whole playlist focused around this topic. So today with attention, we're going to cover uncertainty. Now this is a really big deal in climbing, and it can be one of the easiest things to solve, but can sometimes have a lot of ego attached to it. Especially when it comes to a desire to be able to flash or on-site a climb. Usually if we're constantly hitting a moment of frustration and uncertainty and spending a lot of time trying to get better at this by flashing on sighting, we can essentially end up on a downward spiral where we're becoming more frustrated with climbing and losing confidence. So what we first want to do with anything is recognize that it's the simple fact of not knowing something that is stressing us out. Now this might be not knowing where the next holds are, not knowing what a fall feels like, not knowing how far or how safe a fall could be, not remembering if we tied our knots or some other aspects of safety, or not being able to route read ahead of ourselves because we're not sure on how to recognize a handhold from our current position. And there's a lot more things in there, I'm sure, but I'm going to try my best to keep this short. So ultimately we're going to look at a way of downgrading the amount of uncertainty. One of the easiest ways to do this, particularly on a rope climb, is to skip through the moves, clip through it, except that we're not currently at the ability to flash this with ease or on-site it. And then we want to go about removing a little bit of that uncertainty. This might mean simply finding a hold or two. Now, if I found a hold or two and I hit that uncertainty and frustration again, this climbing overall has got something about it that I'm struggling to be able to read from my current position or find intuitive about the climbing style. At this point, I definitely want to take to clipping up a sport climb, top roping or seconding a trad climb, and indoors just cheating through the moves to figure out what the rest of the climb is like. Now on a sport climb in particular, you simply want to find all the biggest holds and figure out the easiest position between them and the most efficient way to move between these holds, and slowly piece this together, as well as maybe clipping positions. We don't want to in the long term, we don't want to remove all uncertainty, because the goal is to get better at climbing in the uncertain. But once we've gotten better at route reading the rock, being more intuitive on that style of climbing, we want to start tackling more and more climbs, slowly learning less and less intentionally, with the idea of figuring out what is a hold from below or what the next body position needs to be as I'm doing it. There will always be a grade harder than what you can flash in on site if you work and put time at it. This is a great thing to take advantage of. When it comes down to bouldering, we can have the same thing, and indoors we can usually cheat through moves. Outside there's methods of stacking pads, getting a boost off a friend, or even setting up a rope so you can test out the moves in safety. Now onto the safety side of things. If we don't like dynos, don't like jumping, don't like doing high up boulder problems, don't like going for moves because we're not sure what a fall feels like, then this is where some fall practice could be really helpful, even on bouldering. Starting off with taking small falls and gradually progressing these to be bigger and bigger falls, more realistic. Now I say realistic because we don't want to go into excess and create some weird traumatic situation. We simply want to reach towards a hold, hop off, reach towards a hold, hop up, and progressively build this. There's a lot of different aspects to do this when it comes down to rope climbing and bouldering, but learning how to fall is a really important part of safety. If you know how to land, you're going to reduce your injury risk. Recognizing what you are uncertain about and doing something about it can be one of the most powerful tools I've ever used when climbing. Simply knowing that a hold is good can reduce my stress a lot. Knowing that there's a rest somewhere on a route can take down the fear of not being able to physically do the climb all in one, and it can change my tactics going forwards. Once again, to keep this short, I've had to keep it vague. But essentially, when we're dealing with uncertainty, we want to find a moment to take ourselves away, figure out where in these 4 categories that I'm covering is stressing me out the most, and if it is a form of uncertainty, I want to find a safe or useful way to remove a small amount of that uncertainty before I progress and try doing it again. Really important to be aware, if we keep hitting moments of uncertainty, we're lacking in a skill or technique or tactic at that current level or on that kind of climb. I hope this has been helpful. I'll catch you next week, and I'll probably be covering struggle or change, or potentially both.